Today in the Strongest in Teen Wolf series, we're going to be taking a look at arguably one of the most dominant forces of nature we have ever seen throughout the entire series. And that's the hellhound Cerberus, who possessed Beacon Hill's deputy, Jordan Parrish. I'm going to be telling you guys why and just how this dude was an absolute demon. Just like in the Scott video where I covered how strong he was, I'll leave a pinned comment to that video and a card so you guys can watch after this. It's important to go over what exactly a hellhound is so no one misconstrues the concept like many have done in the past. A hellhound is, of course, a spirit creature from an external realm known as hell or the underworld that has a duty to protect the supernatural from the human population and is a guardian of their respective nematon. The nematon, of course, being the beacon for all supernatural creatures, at least when it's imbued with energy. In Season 5, Part 2, I'm going to refer to Part 1 a little bit, but for the most part, Parrish doesn't do anything noteworthy other than a few things in that first half of the season. Season 5B is the season where Parrish does the most, in my opinion, as a hellhound, because in Season 6, his role is pretty much relegated to being a main event talent announcer and a journeyman, to be honest. So in Season 5B, most of Parrish's feats come from his battle against Mason Hewitt / Sebastien Valet, aka the Beast of Jades. During these fights, he was able to hold his own for an extreme period of time against arguably the most dominant force in the entire series that we have ever seen. Trading blows and being able to somewhat physically, in extreme air quotes, harm it to a certain extent. But what's evident with the outcomes of those fights is that Parrish was never at the same level of power as the Beast. The best encounter he had with the creature was the fight in the hospital and the fight in the sewers during the finale. Each encounter, Parrish and the Beast were ravaging the insides of buildings and destroying things the more they fought. And a prophecy foretold in the form of paintings and promotional material and in the series showed that had these two continued to battle and fight each other, the entire town of Beacon Hills would have literally gotten obliterated, with almost everyone dying, including members of Scott's pack, minus Scott McCall himself, which is absolutely insane. Some of his powers were shown on a greater display during the heist to break Lydia out of Eichen House, when he completely, and I mean completely, dominated the Chimera pack. During this encounter, we see that Parrish is immune to some of the deadliest abilities that have even given some of the strongest werewolves on the show some trouble, such as Scott McCall and Derek Hale. And these weaknesses include the likes of Canema Venom, which we've seen prior to be one of the deadliest abilities any supernatural or chimera can possess. Not only was he completely immune to Canema Venom, he was also completely immune to electricity as well, and even went as far as to set Corey Bryant on fire entirely and nearly kill him if it weren't for his healing factor when aggravated and pissed off. Unfortunately, and this in my opinion goes along with a point I made in previous videos about the writing of characters and their powers / abilities, if Parrish was able to completely be immune to electricity and Canema Venom, with the electricity feat being the more impressive of the two, then how the hell was he easily subdued by a pole being struck through his chest? Just a consistency issue I have with the series, but it was definitely a bad look for Parrish. But you can negate it a little bit because he was able to completely recover shortly after, and showcased another ability of his, which is that hellhounds can completely destroy mountain ash barriers by just walking through them, which is completely insane when characters such as Scott McCall struggle to even barely get through one. Referring back to the feats of Season 5, Part 1, his strength was only rivaled by the Dread Doctors and the Beast of Jades, and he was able to completely knock out Theo Rakin with just a single strike, and even made him bleed with him spitting blood out of his mouth on contact. And he was also able to completely flip over Styles' Jeep Roscoe with little to no effort, especially impressive when you consider the fact that Styles himself adds extra weight to the car with him still being inside the vehicle. Now, These were all the noteworthy feats from Parrish because unfortunately in season 6, like I mentioned before, Parrish has it rough. It's like past all the stuff with the Beast, the writing team just didn't know what to do with his character. And I mean, we go from him being one of the most dominant forces we've ever seen on the show to him jobbing to a Ghost Rider in seconds, literal seconds, upon his first transformation in season 6, then getting possessed and then getting possessed and used like a lapdog and then turned into a henchman for the tribrid Garrett Douglas, then getting clapped by a stronger hellhound in Howin to being relegated to a background character for the last half of the series. It was bad for him towards the end, but the last feat of strength, which helps his argument for being extremely strong, that it took 2 supernaturals and a chimera just to barely be able to keep him out of a building while he was burning their hands and forcing his way back and under the control of the Wild Hunt. But aside from that and all the abuse he suffered in season 6, Parrish still remains an extremely dangerous threat to any supernatural creature who dares challenge him, and on his worst day, he can still run through most, if not any, supernatural who is unfortunate enough to try and stop him. And I would argue, aside from Douglas, the Beast, the Nogutsune, and Howin, he's probably in the top 5 strongest characters in the entire series, if we're being completely honest. Now, if you guys enjoyed what I had to say in today's video, I would appreciate it if you leave a like. Really helps this video do better in the YouTube algorithm and get out to more people and more Teen Wolf fans across the world. It also helps independent content creators like me become much larger, so you guys have more content to watch, of course. And also, when you subscribe, make sure you turn on post notifications so that you never miss a future upload from me. I'm Jades Corner. Make sure you guys have a great rest of your day or night whenever you're watching this, and I'll catch you in the next strongest in Teen Wolf video. Deuces.